Hello to anybody and everybody who's coming to check out this video. It's a random reader here giving you a update on my thoughts and opinions on the game known as Path of Exile 2. So, stick around, find out what I think, what I got going on within the game, and enjoy the gameplay footage of either my witch or my huntress clearing through some maps. And let's get into discussing the good, the bad, and all of the awesomeness that is Path of Exile 2. Definitely got to start with the negative, so to speak, simply because I think it'll be easier to clear over, and it's not so massive of a thing that it's preventing me from having fun. My biggest gripe with the game so far is their genuine lack of explanation thereof. So certain systems that they have within the game and certain interactions that they have aren't properly explained or aren't shown in extra detail without you having to look extremely hard to find some of it. A really good example of this is the stats window. Not having some of your characters' stats that are relevant to the game's code and factoring on that window, whereas then you'll have to go to your skills and check out the skills specific stat, which in some regards I do understand, but the fact that it can keep track of certain skills you have equipped and what things you've got going on tells me that it's probably possible for them to move all of that to one window for convenience, but I don't know if that's something they will. But that's just one simple little thing of it feels like they don't explain and they don't want to show you their game easily, like you have to go hunting and looking for it. The next one, part of that is that item crafting, really just items. I shouldn't say item crafting, but items in general. They they give like the briefest introduction on them, but they don't really explain that the tiers to the additives that can be added on and how many additives you can have, which is six in total on like a good item. And I personally am now getting slowly better, but this is again only after the second character getting them through Cruel Acts 2. I'm getting better at reading the items that I know my two characters need and utilize, and when I see something good or a good piece of gear for them. But it's so far, and it's only what I think is good, mind you. And it's so far typically below what is actually good or what is rated good by the community standards and what the trade website does. So the lack of item explanation, the lack of item tiering, the lack of even sharing that there is a trading website is a big negative. I think that's a big loss. They should really have like a quest that's guaranteed to give you a god roll type item because it would make people see that their crafting can really make these items good. Their crafting and their ability to find items can really have good drops. Well, finding items, maybe I shouldn't say, because that's another point of discussion, is that it doesn't feel like the items you find are even up to snuff. It's very rare. It just feels like they're either material for the recombinator or regal orb shards. And that's very interesting to me because you think you would want the loot you find to feel more impressive than the loot you have to craft and stuff. But it simply is being withheld or going in a way that it's you are excited about it in the sense that you may see it for a good crafting piece or a good crafting potential, but you aren't excited about it, so to speak. That's even how I've been feeling with the uniques. I do like some of the uniques. They feel like they add a variety, or they change up your play style, or they give build synergy in a way that I wasn't thinking about, and they make me go, ooh, that makes me want to try something. So I save a lot of the uniques I encounter, but there are some where it just feels like really big duds comparatively, and maybe on those they should give better stats, or they should just consider redoing them. But personally, this is only from two classes consideration, and I'm only playing two specs. I've only played the Amazon spec and the Infernalist spec, so there are three total specs a part of those two classes, and by specs I'm meaning specialization for anyone who doesn't play PoE2. I am only knowledgeable to some extent, and I don't even have all that much knowledge. So I just, to sum all that up, I really do think these are just minor things. They're gripes that I have with the game because of how I'm trying to learn the game. But that doesn't by any means necessarily mean I think the game is bad. It just means that I think these are real things that they should address and fix at some point to make the game feel enjoyable to someone who isn't just already having enjoyment for playing the game. If someone's on the fence, it's these types of things that may make or break their ability to join or enter the game. And that's with that one, it's really big because it all kind of loops into each other. The crafting, the items found, and the currency. Oh yeah, they need to definitely update the currency for the campaign to make it feel like you're getting currency. Because it felt like it was really rare. I think by the end of my first one, I had only collected like 35 or something. My first campaign, Regal Orbs, and for Exalted, it was only like 7 or something. I'm getting a lot more now that I've progressed into the end game, so to speak. But it just, I think if they want people to get into it and to have somewhat better understandings of it, they should start us off earlier and either giving a guaranteed quest that's like good, gonna drop you a random item of a super high roll, or utilizing and giving us more currency during the campaign, like a ludicrous drop rate increase. So to make the campaign feel like it's more worthwhile to, for the first time on the character, you give it like a reset. Yeah, that would be beneficial. They don't have to though. As I said, I'm still having a blast playing and enjoying the game, despite me having some minor negative thoughts about it. And I really want to talk and get into those now, because my positives, man, this game has a lot of time that you can sink into it and still feel like you haven't acquired, grasped, or picked up anything. I'm currently sitting at over 250 hours, although some of that time may or may not be idle time from me falling asleep or and the controller disconnect, not properly logging off, but probably only like 15, give or take, at max. So the amount of time that can just be sunk into this game for you to learn and pick up and gain further developing knowledge within the game's world that allows you to play it and interact with the in-game systems faster, that can be acquired, is truly feeling like it just has no end. And with items getting added and characters getting added, it will just bolster this amount of knowledge that there is seemingly no end to. Though I'm sure you can learn it all. It's a very difficult to do. It's not the easiest of tasks. So with that, I find that as a really good thing though, because it just means that when I'm playing the game, I can think about the game and sync my brain into it and really try to get a hold and make something click or do a little better, figure something out in a new way, and it is just rewarding. It's one of those things that is rewarding once you finally get it working. Another very rewarding sensation is when you get your build right and you've imported some passive points or you've changed a piece of gear that really has made a difference in your either survivability, your ability to kill, your damage is noticeably changed, and now your playstyle just gets to feel a little more satisfied because you have successfully changed up and accomplished it in a way that fits how you play. You, because that's the most important part of these games, playing it and enjoying it how you want to play it and enjoy it. I am currently having an abundance of enjoying playing through on my Infernalist Witch. Her playthrough has been a breeze. Um, she had some gear for her kind of already set up because I had found some stuff on my Huntress that I was like, ooh, keep this, ooh, keep this. And it ended up being really beneficial. I didn't have to worry about support gems. My Huntress has been finding a ton, which very unlike. I felt very unfair because I didn't get my first support gem 3 until like damn near the end of Act 3. So actually, I don't even think it was in Act 3. I think I was in Cruel Act something by the time I got a support gem 3. But yeah, so that just feels unfair in a sense. But it's just been so easy. Like it's easy breezy comparatively to the Huntress playthrough and the Huntress start. It's like a dream walk. I cruised all the way through Act 3, no problems with any of the bosses really. I died a couple times on some of them, but it wasn't like I'm struggling. It was just me not watching, me doing a misstep. And then she went and cruised through the maps. I thought it was going to take me a little bit because I was like 64 when I started, and I thought I was going to struggle climbing through those maps. But no, already able to do the tier 7, tier 8 ones just like my Huntress is barely able to do. But difference in build, so that tells me I need to go relook at my build on my Huntress and figure out what I've got going on. I've got a good minion burn thing going on, so I'm clearly doing something wrong on one end for it to not feel as, and I'm not going to say that it should feel as cohesive, but for one character being like 6 or 7 levels over the other, it definitely should feel a little bit. I should feel a little bit more like I'm doing better on that one, but I don't. So that's one of those, ooh, my brain gets to think about and try to see the new paths and the ways that I'm going to try to go to allocate my points on the passive tree. And that'll be somewhat fun. It'll be annoying because the funds will eventually run out and I'll have to get more. But the end game is pretty helpful for that as well. So that is also a cool benefit is that within the end game sphere after you beat Cruel Act 3, the drops seem to be increasingly more rewarding and better. So with that being said, it's honestly a fun time playing, guys. Genuinely, I'm having enjoyment. It's a difficult game that has its moments, but every challenge within the game and every difficulty is usually overcomeable through either readdressing and relooking at my character and things on the passive tree or the gear I'm wearing and going and delving into that. Now, while unfortunately those are giant tasks, gaining an understanding of what the stats your character are primarily utilizing and what's making you strong, and seeing that passive tree cohesively in a way that fits, that all your points are like really being valued. It is a little bit unfortunate that that is required to some extent, but overall it's a very good positive because once you do get it down, it feels rewarding. I hope everyone who's come to check this out, eh, you have some thoughts, opinions, feelings. Maybe you don't agree, maybe you do, maybe you are enjoying it. Maybe you're not a new player, maybe you're a grizzled vet who's played through all the characters and is tired of doing the rerunning. Maybe you're a new player who got stuck on an early boss and couldn't get through it because you didn't understand the game systems. Maybe and you didn't want to take the time to gain an understanding because it can be a lot of time sometimes. Maybe you are none of those things. Maybe you're just someone who's enjoying the game and came to check this out because you wanted to see someone else who's enjoying the game. Regardless, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you do enjoy my content. I am going to try to figure out a better posting schedule and a streaming schedule, but I really just need to get more on top of getting game footage from the games I want to play or the books I like to read. Maybe some videos of me reading to the channel about manga or a book that I like. Something like along those lines. I don't really exactly know where I want to take this thing or go with it. Again, this is currently just about me making videos on something I enjoy, and I want to do so about things I enjoy, things in positivity. I think that's a big thing. I want to discuss and talk about things in more positivity than I do negativity. So hopefully you guys are all enjoying Path of Exile too, because I know I sure am, and I hope to see you guys in the future. Later.